All right, hello. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hope you're having a great Friday. This is my first Freak Nick, and it's been a lot of fun so far. So appreciate you all having me here. So my name is Matt, also known as Knockout. I'm originally from Virginia, but I now live in California. I built my first website on GeoCities. Anybody remember GeoCities? Yeah. Which makes me older than I look. I'm currently a master's student in data science, which will inform kind of some of the things I'm doing at the end of this talk. And most importantly, I'm not a Bluetooth expert. So I come from like sort of Linux and AppSec and app building and all these types of stuff, but I'm definitely not a Bluetooth expert. But with that being said, this is my talk on Bluetooth. So bear with me for the next 20 minutes. We're gonna try to get a lot of information out as much as I can. So, overall, the talk I'm talking about Warwalking. Some of you guys know as war driving. I started down this path for the last, I don't know, a couple years, and it's opened my mind to a whole nother realm of possibility and information that's just floating out in the ether every day as we walk by devices that are connected via Bluetooth. So what is Warwalking? It's walking through public areas with just your phone and other optional tools, which we'll talk about, and scanning for open Bluetooth connections, and that's it. So just curiosity, a pair of sneakers, your phone, that's it. The things you can do with just your phone is kind of crazy, and I'll explain sort of how I got started in part one, my journey into the world of Bluetooth. So it started with this TikTok. This whole journey started with this TikTok. I couldn't find, it's been like scrubbed from the internet. I can't find it. But this guy basically was like, hey, at Mattress Firm stores around the United States, there's this new thing called a Pro Smart Bed Base. You can connect to it via Bluetooth and play anything you want on the Pro Smart Bed Base. There's no pairing mode. There's no way to stop it unless you unplug the bed. And so his mission was to get everybody in the world to just troll all the mattress firms around the world. And so lo and behold, there was one in my hometown of Walnut Creek, California. So I went in, opened up my phone, and it was all Pro Smart Beds. The whole store was Pro Smart Beds. So I clicked the button and I got connected, and I was like, okay, I guess that guy had a point, and then this is what, I don't know if you'll be able to, oh, you won't be able to hear it, I don't have the audio set up, but basically this is me. I don't know if you can hear that, but smash button. So, success. So I was like, wow, that was crazy. That was like, that's a little weird, and you know, we've all connected Bluetooth devices from our phone all the time, but I just never really thought about just like looking for what was available out there until this guy said that. So I'll walk through a couple other use cases of what I found before I got deeper into the data of it. So I go to a local cafe to do homework and just general work and stuff. I know the owner just right down the street from my place, and I was in there one day doing homework and I got bored, so I opened up my phone, opened up the Bluetooth menu, and I saw this thing on there. I was like, I don't know what that is, but I clicked on it and it connected. So I was like, okay, this could be something. Now, there's a spoiler here. It's this thing right here, not this exact one. By the way, I should have said this earlier. I'm giving anybody full authorization to do whatever you want with this thing if you can get into it. I'm about to give spoilers about how to do stuff on it, but feel free to connect if you want. It only allows one connection, so it's a race to see who can get to it first. But it turns out it was the Epson TM M32 thermal list printer, which, okay, we've got a message.
Yeah, we got it.
It's a QR code, so we'll deal with that later. Oh, my phone, my computer. Okay. So, stand by. Anticlimax. Second. So anyways, I'll tell the story as it's coming back up. So I was in the cafe and I saw this, and I actually Googled the name of it, and it turned out it was an Epson thermal. I saw it just by Googling the name of the network. So then I found that there's an application in the iOS App Store, the Epson TM utility printer. So I downloaded it, and you can see at the top there, it showed me I was connected to this printer. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then more specifically, I was looking at the options, and I saw that there was an edit, receipt, and print option. So I took this picture of my face, and it actually prints all. It's all black and white thermal, so it's all used, heat on it, so it's not like an ink printer. And so I printed that off, and I saw some weird looks from behind the counter, the high school students that were like working at the bar. And so then I was like, well, what more can I do to mess with these kids? And I printed this off. So I'll read it out loud if you can't read it back. My name is My name is Jackson Fellini, and I'm from the year 2036. Recent technological breakthroughs have allowed me to communicate with your time. Now to figure out how to confirm whether this was received. A few minutes later, I did this, and then throughout the next few weeks, I told the owner, and he never told that. I don't know if he told them ever. I didn't tell the kids, and I saw them like talking amongst themselves, and their friends were and they were like kind of freaking out a little bit. So I realized I could connect to it as I'm walking by the cafe in my town. So I would just walk by and just like fire off like these types of things, just in passing. So like nobody would know it's me, I just sort of like. So to this day, there might be some high school kids in Walnut Creek who think that they've been in communication with time travelers. So anyways, now the serious thing is like I could have done more stuff. I could have printed like fake refund tickets, got refunds. I could have done many more things. Fake drink tickets. I was thinking just like copy what the drink ticket looks like and print off my own drinks. But I just decided to troll a little bit and have fun, and that was it. So next, I wanted to take it up a step and see if I could do more. So it's very obvious what this is. A Samsung TV, 55-inch TV, or maybe 60-inch, either way. And this is a store, it's this QLED TV that I found, and I was able to connect to it from my phone. This is a store right next to my office, this like smoothie place I go to a lot. And as you can see, when I click on it, you probably had this experience, you click on it and it asks you to pair. But you can't do it from your phone at that point. You're like, well, what do? I'm done, basically. I can't really do any more than that. So sadness, immediately followed by, wait a second, I have a Flipper Zero. So I got a Flipper Zero it's called a Master Blaster GPIO board. I got it at DEF CON this year. It's an IR extender, so I didn't have to be right next to the thing. And the Rogue Master firmware that you can flash onto the Flipper has a universal Samsung remote. So it's got a select button on it, and so I was able to select and play Smash Mouth in the smoothie bar. Now, the problem here is that you couldn't mirror the display. I thought I'd be able to mirror anything I wanted to on the display. It was just audio. So there was a little bit of security in the Samsung devices that don't let you just broadcast whatever you want on the TVs, but allows you to play audio. And unfortunately, this bar didn't have like the audio up very loud, so it was what it was. I got in, so there's a little bit of security, and obviously, the problem with the audio, takeovers at things is you can like disrupt events and businesses. So that was the end of, I thought was the end of my journey with the Samsung TV. But wait, one more thing. It turns out, I'll get to you. I was at a bar in Chicago, and I found out that if you're on the same Wi-Fi network as the TV that you paired with, you can video. So all you have to do is ask the bartender for the Wi-Fi password, and you're in. So way too easy. I mean, so this was like, okay, I just took a phone, a Flipper, maybe not even social engineering if you're in a place that you already have the Wi-Fi password, and you can hijack the entire display on these things. I mean, that bar that I was in, it was all Samsung displays. I could have taken control of anything I wanted to in that bar, with really not a lot of sophistication. So, this was the best way to defend, as you can imagine, is like a lot of these devices. First off, the manufacturers have a responsibility to create these devices that don't have these ways to connect without pairing or authentication. We all know that there's like basic pairing and authentication you can do on these devices, and some just don't come with that. So that's kind of a problem. So for the kind of things that you have at your business or your home, you obviously want to make sure that you have some pairing or authentication on these devices if it's important for you. And why this ultimately matters is that, like I said at the beginning, I'm not a Bluetooth expert. I literally didn't have to know anything about Bluetooth except that there was a menu in my phone to be able to connect to these things. So for me, that's like the most important part of this is like, I'd be interested as you all go out into the world, if you start opening up your phone in random places and seeing what exists and then Googling what they are. There's an insane amount of things. Like there's headphones that you can connect to. I was at a street party in Dublin, Ireland once, and could just connect to the speaker on the street. It's crazy. So it's a wide open world there. And so from there, I gave this talk. This is only my second talk, but the first talk I gave a couple months ago at John Con in Philadelphia. Ended up getting to hang out with some really interesting people, which introduced me more to the world of Warwalking itself. So there's a software called Kismet, which I know probably a bunch of you have heard of. It's been around for many years. I got to hang out with Dustin and Draghorn, two guys that basically developed this software. And they were telling me all about it. And if you're not familiar with it, it's an open source wireless network scanner. So it will do war driving where you can not only see what Wi-Fi networks are out there, but you can see what Bluetooth devices are around. You kind of collect those things. And so what I did, and the other cool thing about it is like they have like a whole interface built in. So once you set it up, you can, got a local network where you can actually see, all the Bluetooth devices you come across, a lot of information on it. Generally a Bluetooth packet's payload, and sorry if I'm talking fast, I've only got 20 minutes, so I'm trying to get through all this, but a general Bluetooth packet payload. This is sort of simplifying it, but it gives you like the name of the device, if it has a name, the MAC address, the type of device, maybe some manufacturer data. And then when you add Kismet on it, you can get GPS, RSSI, which is like the strength of the signal, the time that you saw it. So it kind of adds this layer of being able to kind of track sort of geospatially where these devices are if you have GPS enabled on it. So it's super interesting technology that I sort of dove into. So what I did is I built a rig, because it started with me going, well, where are more of these receipt printers? Because I want to like mess with more receipt printers. So if I went out and I saw and I like looked and got the GPS, and I could see what stores they're in, and like just be an interesting exercise to do, and it just led me down this rabbit hole. So I created this. It's a little hard to see on the screen, but it's a Raspberry Pi with just a battery on it, a USB cord connecting it, and a GPS dongle. And I've got Kismet installed on there. And what I've done is, so I travel a lot, and so what I figured I should do is I set up this to, if I turn my phone on and turn the personal hotspot on, it'll connect to the personal hotspot, and then I use Tailscale, which is like a VPN network. It sends data through Tailscale back to, I guess I could call it my C2 server back at my place. And so it's constantly backing up all of my Kismet data as I'm doing Warwalks. If I ever want to, I just turn my phone on the hotspot, and it'll take all the data, send it back home, and then I have this like aggregated data set back home that I'm beginning to understand things about. So I've done a bit of analysis on this. So bear with me on this. As a data person, this is a very small sample size. There's like billions of these devices. We're talking about 100,000 maybe right now with like what I'm doing. So mainly like in San Francisco and then here in Nashville. So approximately 7 to 8% are named. So like Matt's iPhone or a Whoop band or something like that. Otherwise, it's just a MAC address, but a lot of times those MAC addresses are static. They don't rotate on a lot of these devices, so they're as good as a name, just a little less human readable. So approximately 60 to 65% are persistent. What I mean by that is it's either a name or like a persistent MAC address, meaning you could kind of be tracked by that device. So if someone knew what that thing was, that MAC address was, in theory, this thing is like slowly coming down. I don't know what's happening. In theory, if someone knew the MAC address or what the MAC address associated device with, you could kind of be tracked, which is a little bit scary. I've thought about doing experiments in the future where I make 10 of these rigs, put them all around, and then really see myself get pinged across the path and be able to track myself. So a little scary. I walked about a quarter mile to my local grocery store and picked up 1,300 devices on my rig. So that gives you an idea of the scale. I'm not in a super dense urban area. It's like a suburb of San Francisco. It's decently dense, but that's the scale we're talking about. That's in a very small radius. You're going to have tons and tons of devices. And then 99% of the devices are BTLA. So there's like older generation Bluetooth, which is not really used much anymore. BTLA is largely the IoT devices, and then some of like the processes on your phone, like your iPhone and things like use it for like airdropping and things of that nature. But from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong later, but I think Bluetooth Low Energy is largely IoT devices. So I'm sort of approximating that about 99% of these. This is making this really interesting. I've never had this. Right at the end of my talk, it's just going to come crashing down. That's fine. Timer. Can't go over. And so what I did is I created, to get all this information, I created a script, a Python script. It's on my website is mattmiller.ai. It's just like the first link on there. It's a Kismet open source GitHub link. Happy to, if anybody else is experiencing this, happy to have you all like submit changes, commits, pull requests, things like that. So now to get into a few of the fun facts. This is very interesting. No, keep it. It's good. It's good ambiance. 3 people in my hotel last night have CPAP machines. Smart CPAP machines. I walked the floors with it and collected what I could in the hotel. It's pretty interesting data, I think. Insanely inefficient design by a lot of these devices. So there is a molecular air purifier. I don't know exactly where it is. Somewhere in San Francisco, maybe near my office, that transmits 50 packets a minute. All you really need is like 1 or 2 packets to like get the information. There's no reason it needs to be that I know of that would need to constantly be transmitting. So that's kind of a waste of energy. It's not a huge amount of energy to transmit a packet, but it's kind of insane that 38,000 in 12 hours. Pure fragrance diffusers, I've never heard of those, but there's these smart fragrance diffusers that are also constantly broadcasting themselves. So you can only imagine, there's like all these devices out there that are just super inefficient. Like, why would you need to do any of that? Why not wait till you have to put into pairing mode before you start broadcasting these things? Now, of course, there are some like AirTags that, there's a reason to have them constantly kind of sending out a signal, but not those. I have the ... because right before the talk, I started a new Kismet session in this room. And I thought, I turned my phone on, I'm connected to my personal hotspot. So I thought that very quickly I could show you all. And I know it's always very dangerous to do live tech demos when you haven't practiced them. Bear with me. I am going to attempt, so if I connect to my hotspot on my computer, I should be able to go into that Kismet thing. Let me see if I can. This should be interesting. I'm gonna. SSH into this thing sitting up here. This is the most recent session.
Can we command plus like a lot?
Say what was that?
Can we command plus like a lot?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Actually, that's good. That'd be good for me too. I was like, why am I so here squinting for that reason? All right. So that's and then we'll just run. I've got a few scripts. So there's one that actually extracts the names of the devices, which I think would be a fun one. So earlier I was doing it, and I guarantee we're going to see a ton of.
It's like four flippers in the room right now.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so this is the list of the names of the devices. So we got Meshtastic. That's my whoop actually right there, my little thing.
Flipper, flipper,
Yeah.
flipper,
Yeah.
5, 6,
Yeah, yeah.
7.
Galaxy
Oh my
Watch.
God.
Oh, there's the printer. Meshtastic. Some people have Aura rings. Pretty good. You guys aren't like naming your devices with your names, except me. So, so I guess my OPSEC needs a little bit of work. But so anyways, these scripts are all available to download on GitHub, as I mentioned. I'll run one more quick one. Very slow. So these are a bunch of different, like, there's, I don't know, and there's anything exciting here, sometimes there is, but. Yeah, so of these devices, it's picked up about 1,500. And 99% are Bluetooth low energy of the ones that it's picked up since I plugged it in.
Here's your prefix count, flipper 7.
Yeah, oh yeah, look at that. That's good. Pixel, yeah. So anyways, it's fun. I would love to continue to like work with the community to like expand this script out and this analysis out. I'm getting ready to like do a capstone for my master's. I'm like, I think this is where I'm headed now because I've gone deep into the rabbit hole. So I would love to continue to. If you guys were at Lambda Calculus's talk earlier, there's a great quote that came out of the talk. Where is the Apache? So somebody wrote, "Where is the Apache?" with an Apache helicopter. I think that's the quote of the weekend. Okay. Anyways, let's get back to the talk. So one other thing, if you might know about Wiggle, it's a crowdsourced website that basically you can use the Kismet data and you can format it and upload it, or there's other things like they've got their own app, I believe, for Android that you can war drive and warwalk with and give information back. So on that site, there's 1.7 million Wi-Fi networks and 4.5 billion Bluetooth devices, and it's mapped out, so it's like on a map. It's got the GPS of it and all that. So that's a really fun kind of crowdsourced way to get involved in this as well. And I'm still digging through all that data as well. So super, super interesting. So very last thing here. I had this idea. So this is a QR to like a Signal chat. I had an idea I've never made a badge, and I figured like next year at DEF CON, I was thinking it'd be really cool if we had these types of things maybe as SAOs on badges, because this year is an electronic badge year, like it's every other year, and this year is electronic badge year. So it'd be cool to have kind of a mesh network of these, like talking back to a C2 server and getting full coverage of all the Bluetooth devices walking around DEF CON. I don't know. It's a thought. I haven't built it, and I figured this is a good place to do a call to action to get some people that know how to build badges and do the electronic side of things, so I can, build the software and we can all work together as a team. So with that, I do want to thank you all for sticking around for this. Like I said, it's my second talk. It's been a really cool, great, welcoming community to be a part of the last few years, and I'm only getting deeper into it. So hope to talk to you all, connect with me, and yeah, I'll see you here next year at other conferences around the country.